Welcome back. So in today's lecture, let us understand various data types in R and how can we declare these in R and how to check them and so on. So we have dealt in theory classes that there were various data types which can be declared. So let's just jump into practice and see how can we really declare them. So I'm assigning an operator or I'm declaring a variable x wherein I will store a name called cherry. Again, I will declare y variable in which I will assign a value, suppose 34L. Now, I will tell you what this L stands for in R. Let's, for the time being, for the sake of just convenience, let us just keep on assigning and we will check it, what we've done. And I take 67. Then I take another variable that is D, and in that I would assign something called, floating values. And then in the next I would just write here logic, because I will be creating a logical this thing, so I'll write here true. And then let's see complex. So these are the data types which you studied, right? So 3 plus suppose 4I, and now I run this by hitting shift and enter. So this has been there. Now what I do is, let us just understand the class of the data type. So what I write is here class. So I will just simply write here class of x. It will give me character. Now let us just type for all the variables that we have assigned so that it can give me everything like class of z, class of x, class of d, another variable that we have assigned, and then we want for logic, and then we want the class of complex. Okay, let's just run this, and this is giving me the different data types of these objects that we have created. So you can see y is an integer, whereas the 67 is simply treated as numeric. It is not an integer. So if you have to in R, you have to be careful whether you're assigning an integer or a numeric variable here. And this is again numeric 78.90, and this is logical true, and 3 plus 4i is complex. So these are the data types. And now we will understand one more thing, another way to check here. We use type of in R to get the exact meaning. So what I write here, I would simply write here type of. So I would just save a little time, and what I do is I would type here, okay, 4 5, and just bear with me, 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Okay, so I will just write here type of, and then I can just declare here x, y, or z as per my variable. So here was type of x, type of y, type of z, and the type of d, the type of again logic. I'll tell you what will happen just in few seconds. And okay, let's enter this thing. And now you see this is character integer. What happened to the other class here, as you see, of z and d? Compare it. Here it was numeric, but here it turned out to double. So there's no numeric in R, it's only double. Okay, so what happens in R is that it doesn't contain any numeric this thing, but what it does is it simply has only, I would say, the double precision floating numbers, and that's how it stores all the numeric variables. But this L, if you are giving this L here, that means it will understand that this is an integer and this is not to be stored as a double floating precision number. Okay, all right, so this was about type in R and figuring out as to the difference between class and type of. So type of is basically more of used in R. Now I will walk you through one more thing as to assigning, like suppose I create an object called object1, and in that I would assign, suppose I write here 5 equals 6. So what is this? Okay, what is this? Suppose you just call this is false. Okay, so that means this is a logical operator that I have given. This was a condition that I gave. Now I want to understand the type of it, so I will just write here type of object 1, and this will give me logical. Now another thing which I want to show you is that, now suppose if I create an object 2 and I assign something called a number, a floating point precision, and you know what this is like. So in the terms of R, this will give me what? Double, right? Now I want it R to treat it as an integer. What would I do if I want R to treat it as an integer? So I will simply use, so I want R to make it as integer. So I will use a function called is integer, okay? I mean, sorry, as integer, and then I will write here object 2, enter, and this is 78, okay? So this is what happens, that it forces this double value, this floating point precision into an integer. Now suppose I just store this in a variable so that I can just compare the values and show you the type of this and the type of our object 2. So you can just simply write here the type of, if you really want to check what has been your new var, that is an integer, and if you want to check the type of object 2, you can also do that, and that is double. So that means this has been converted into integer successfully. So this is how you convert it, an object and floating point into an integer. Okay, so this was about basic data types and how do you declare them in R. Then the next videos we will understand various data types. That means how do we really store these basic data types in various data structures, that is vectors, lists, arrays, data frames, and so on.